is a little tight, as well as most of my other limbs. So rolling that out, prepping for a fairly long run today. I've got 16 miles this afternoon. Run for about 2 hours, and on a Tuesday.
I am at mile 11, just about, on a 16-mile journey. So I'm going to be taking you guys through a full week of Ironman training. I'm kind of in a sweet spot where training is ramping up, so I'm not necessarily peaking, but it's getting there. So you get to see a good, happy medium ramping up to the Wisconsin Ironman. I'm excited to bring you guys along and keep you guys engaged. Long run complete, 16 miles, around 8-minute pace. Pretty happy with that. Now I've got this masterpiece of a meal. Time to recover a little bit and on to tomorrow. So Tuesday afternoon, swim session complete. Arms felt awesome after some of my longer swims over the weekend. I felt a little bit heavier because I ate a giant sandwich before. But anyway, successful 2-kilometer swim, 1:54 per 100. But it was a speed day, so of course numbers are going to be jacked up a little bit. But nonetheless, pretty happy with that. I'm gonna go run around and hit some volleyballs. I will be back tomorrow and we will jump into Wednesday. Yo. Such a beautiful area. Currently on the way up to Vale from Copper. First time I'm trying this trail out, this biking trail. It is so beautiful and the day could not be better. I'm shooting for 50 plus miles or so. Hoping to get 3,000, 4,000 feet of gain. Days like this, I like to just load up on nutrition because I like to feel good the rest of the day. So if I can pack up on salts, other minerals, other nutrients as much as possible, then I feel pretty good afterward. Wednesday morning bike ride, get back, do some work. So I'll see you guys later.
Midweek steam session. Gotta get the muscles relaxed, do some stretching, and continue on. I will see you guys Thursday morning. Early morning swim session. It's about 6:30. Get into the pool bright and early so I can start the day off right. Just get the arms moving because my main session is later today. I have a transition from biking to running. Should be a pretty exciting day.
brick session completed today. I utilized Lookout Mountain once again. Decided to PR it. Made it to the top from this little office space that I like to work at in under 45. So it's like 43 minutes, some change. Flew down, finished the whole mountain from bottom to top, top to bottom in like 55 minutes. And then decided to brick a 5-mile run and paced that at 6:55. Felt super strong on the bike, even better on the run. So overall, a very good Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be a long swim, so we'll see how that goes. I will see you guys there. Chatfield Lake. Today was 4,000 yards, paced at around 2 minutes. Along Chatfield, the gravel pond is about 1,000 yards all the way to the end. So they're back. 2 laps of that bad boy. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, ready for the rest of the day. Something amazing about swimming. You can definitely trigger a lot of the aerobic training just without all the damage done to your body. And so I feel pretty good right now. I feel like I could definitely hop on a bike and do some damage. But on to the rest of Friday. I think tonight's just gonna be a little bit of recovery and then on to tomorrow's long ride. Getting a good experience of Colorado's landscape today at about mile 82. Trying to get in the last 20 or so. It's getting real hot. Definitely feeling the pain train today. Very long week, but feeling pretty good. Okay, so just finished up the ride. Something that I kind of got into the habit of doing after my coach put it in a bunch of my workouts is doing a mile transition run sort of thing after each of my rides, pretty much, especially long rides. So that gives me a pretty good idea of what my legs are going to feel like going into the Ironman run. Today wasn't bad. Just trying to calculate essentially how fatigued am I, and do I think I can run a marathon. Doing a marathon right now would just be pretty brutal, but fortunately I do think it's doable. I think I'm getting a lot better with transitioning all of my blood from my bike muscles to my run muscles. That's a huge plus, because I remember hopping off the bike, just even walking was just so painful. Starting out, a triathlon career and doing your first brick run just has to be the most painful thing. You're just aching and your body's like, why are we continuing? As of now, I think I'm feeling physically pretty good for a long run tomorrow. I just gotta make sure I stay on top of my motivation. Sometimes that's just the hardest thing. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out tomorrow and dig deep. But that's pretty much what this sport is, so gotta get her done. Okie dokie, on to Sunday. What's up, y'all? Sunday morning, last day of a pretty intense week. So I am happy to conclude it, hopefully on a good note. Just swimming this morning, trying to recover a little bit, and then a long run tonight. Then I'll give you guys kind of a rundown of what the week in total looks like. This is 1 week of somewhat intense Ironman training. just wrapping up my 18-mile run, feeling better than I thought I would. So obviously this run is straight after my just under century ride, and so I'm feeling definitely a little fatigued from yesterday, but I'm still able to crank this out and at a pretty good pace. My watch is showing me 8 minutes 8 seconds per mile, and that was for 17 miles. Now I'm just doing a quick cool down and recap. Miles 14 and 15 felt awesome. So I really started ramping up the music, ramping up the pace. So I had a really good progression at the end, averaging like 750, 745, which is a good sign. So I'm staying hopeful and kind of using these weekends as gradual metrics for what I can expect to perform like when the actual day comes. So anyway, we're gonna look forward to recapping the week, recapping the hours, kind of summarize everything that this week covered, and just really take a look at what an age group athlete schedule could look like if you're trying to perform at a pretty decent level for the full Ironman distance.
Okay, so jumping into the summary of this week, I'll be going through the Training Peak software, which is how I interact with my coach. He gives me some workouts and I attempt to complete those workouts, and sometimes I'll throw in a few of my own extra exercises if I'm feeling good. And so in total, you'll see that I spent around 17 hours and 51 seconds doing the exercises throughout this week, and that is all time in action. It doesn't include preparation for food, it doesn't include stretching, it doesn't include all of that other stuff. This is moving time. And so that's another thing to keep in mind when you're doing a sport like this is you have 17, almost 18 hours of performing the sport, and then 5-10 hours of driving, of eating, of doing all of this extra stuff that does take time. And so that's something to keep in mind. The other notable thing with summarizing this week is the training stress score. And essentially what this tells you is how stressful was this week compared to another given week. And so the aim is to try to increase the score week after week without actually getting injured, obviously. And so you're trying to put as much stress on your body as possible without overusing it and resulting in injury. As long as this was above previous week, which I know it was because the previous week was fairly light, it means there's progress being made with actual fitness. Okay, so jumping into Monday, I had my 16-mile endurance run, and the first 15 miles were done at 8 minutes and 4 second pace. And the total training stress score, for instance, for this activity was 177, which means it was fairly stressful. So as reference, 1 hour at your threshold pace would equal 100 training stress score, essentially. And so this was performed in 2 hours. And so taking that into account, I was pushing this almost at my threshold for the full 2 hours. And then of course the actual cool down to top off the 16 miles. The next day I just had a strength/speed swim day. And so it was 2 kilometers paced at around 1:56 seconds per 100 meters. I don't think this stress score was accurate. I think my thresholds are a little off for swimming in this. But nonetheless, it was a pretty good strength day for swimming. And then I did some extra activity in the afternoon. I think it was volleyball. Wednesday, I did an endurance ride. And since I picked up a lot more elevation than normal, and I don't think this is accurate, I think this should be closer to 3 to 3.5K
feet of elevation gain. Since I did do that extra elevation, I dropped the total mileage down just so I don't go overboard with time and stress on the body. And so this took about 3 hours with 155 training stress score, and then immediately did a mile transition run afterward. And in that run I hauled butt. I was trying to hit 6-minute mile just because it was in a gymnasium, completely flat. It was perfect environment essentially. Next day, just a quick swim, followed by a brick session of riding up Lookout Mountain, which I think this time is correct to 56 minutes total, and then a 5-mile run performed in 34 minutes. The next day I had my 4,000 yard swim performed at around 2 minute, if not sub 2 minute, just having some GPS issues. Garmin Forerunners, of course, and then missed my transition run because I forgot that was there. Then Saturday, I had my 90 to 92 mile ride, which is what Strava clocked me in at. I did that in around 4 hours, 40 minutes. Very high stress score for that, so 260. And then following that was a transition run as well, done in 7 minutes, 23 seconds. And then Sunday was a really short swim, just really maintaining the feel for the water, and making sure my arms are staying active essentially. And then that afternoon I did another long endurance run, clocking these 17 initial miles in at 8 minutes, 8 second pace for a 200 training stress score activity, followed by a short cool down. And so that's the general overview of the week. And I really do hope this kind of helps any aspiring triathletes that want to know what it would take to hopefully do pretty well in the full distance Ironman. And like I've mentioned in the past, I'm trying to get on the podium and, if possible, get to Kona. And so this is a week that I have, 5 weeks out from the actual race. And then as I get closer to the race, I'm going to have a few more weeks that are a little bit more intense than this, admittedly. And then, of course, tapering off to the actual day of the race, and hopefully it all pays off. But if you guys see any issues with this, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I would love to help. That's kind of why I'm doing all of this, is just to motivate and to instruct others that are interested in some of the same aspirations, I suppose. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video, which hopefully will be the actual Ironman video, which I'm really excited to make, just to overview how the event went after all of this training and all of this hard work. So stay tuned for that. Look forward to it. I'll see you guys there.